This is the Husqvarna Viking Amber Air S600. This is a 5-thread cover hem machine. And that makes it that, it'll do the 2-thread, 3-thread, 4-thread, but it does have that 5th spool of thread which will allow it to do cover hems and chain stitches. What a cover hem is if you were to take a look at clothing, for instance, and you'll see like the bottom of a t-shirt has that little hem with the 2 rows of stitches on top. But if you were to flip that over, there's a nice stitch covering up that hem, and that's where it gets its name, is the cover hem. However, it could be used for decorative and construction and all kinds of fun stuff. And it's the same with the chain stitch. It just is so versatile. There's so many things that we can do with it. And what we're going to talk about is this particular S600. Before I go on, I am of the firm opinion that a serger belongs in the sewing room the same way a microwave belongs in the kitchen. It's something that is just in everybody's kitchen nowadays, and the serger is the same thing. Everything that the serger does is fast, clean, efficient, and it is just amazing. So with that being said, let's get back. So this the Amber Air S600 does come with an extension table, which made me jump up and down. I was so happy because I always get an extension table for my sergers. What an extension table can do for you is it takes the weight off of your project. So you're not having to fight with your fabric. So it'll take the weight and allow everything to do the job it's been asked to do. So I love that it comes with an extension table. The extension table, I know I don't have one here, but it also has little holes in it, and it comes with a little push pin. So what that allows you to do is you can put your fabric in, pin it into place, and now you can do curves and circles and all kinds of stuff like that. So it's a great little bonus on the extension table that comes with. Another thing that makes this a special and unique is this serger does have a free arm, which is highly unusual in a serger. So if I want to do tight corners, curves, collars, cuffs, bags, etc., I can easily get to what I need to. So it is a great little feature that is quite unusual on a serger. Everything that comes with it is you're going to get what you need to take out the needles. You're going to get a needle threader. You're going to get a little accessory tray. There's a whole bunch of stuff that comes with it. And there are some things that are right in the door. So like there's a little stylus, there's tweezers, and there's a little hook for the tweezers right up there. There's another little hook if you want to put your thread snips. It's all right, very, very convenient. So let's talk about the screen. So what is so nice, it's a fully color screen, and everything that we need is right here. There's a little arrow off to the side here, and if you pull that arrow down, we get a list of all of the different stitches that are available. And if you scroll on down, you'll see that we have 26 stitches to choose from. And these are just built-in stitches. And I promise, once you get used to a serger and start playing, you are going to start creating your own stitches as well. But what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and stick with the 4-thread overlock. And if you'll notice on the screen, go to a 4-thread overlock, and as soon as I select a stitch, it's going to give me a helpful guide right here. These right here are my tensions, so it's letting me know that the first 4 spots are going to have thread and the last one is not. It's even showing me an image of what the stitch is going to look like. And everything is color-coded, so I can see that the red is making this over the upper looper stitch here. So if I wanted this color to be a decorative thread, I would know that I need to thread my red position with the color of my choice. but it is really helpful to have everything handy right in front of me. Now these are my information screens, and if I go over to information screen number 1, this is going to tell me what to set everything up at if anything needs to be changed. Right now I already have the A table on, but if I needed the B table on, these slide on very easy, off and on, and they are labeled A and B, so it's very easy to, you're not going to get confused at all. The second position is, does it want the cutter down? Nope, saying it wants the cutter up. And this is the converter if I had a 2-thread and didn't need this threaded. This is the stitch finger. And what the stitch finger does is, if I want to stitch along the edge like this, there's a little stitch finger that comes in on the edge, and that's what allows the stitches to wrap around that before coming off. So it's a very clean edge. But in an instance, for instance, like with a rolled hem, I want that fabric to bunch up so that it'll roll that hem. And so I want my stitch finger out of the way. And so that is what this is. It's saying, do you want the stitch finger on or do you want the stitch finger off? But it's that easy to make the change. The next one is the presser foot pressure. That is controlled by a wheel over here. And then this is your upper looper. Do I want it up or do I want it down? I'm going to talk about the loopers in a little bit because the loopers are not as scary as you think they are. And we'll make it all make sense here. But this is the upper looper and it wants it up. And if I go to number 2 here, information screen number 2, it does give me a brief description of what this stitch is. And it is extremely helpful when we're first starting to know the best recommendation for a stitch. Once I'm done, I can go ahead and X out of it. And here is my main screen. And once again, this is going to be very helpful. It's letting me know this is what the stitch is going to look like. It's recommending a size of a needle. It's telling me where it needs the needles to be positioned. It's letting me know what my stitch width is, or my cutting blade should be at, which it is at 6.5, and that's this guy right here. And this little guy here is special because we have a sewing advisor, and I can open up the sewing advisor and tell it what kind of fabric I am working with. And what it happens when I tell it, if I'm working with a heavy fleece, for instance, it's going to change the tension and the stitch length and the differential feed and all that kind of stuff and let me know what I should set everything at. So right now, for instance, I'm on a woven medium, and let's go to a heavy knit, and you'll see all of a sudden this changed to 1.3, this changed, and the tensions would also change. So it's just great that it's just automatic for me. All right, so down here we have speed control. This is the differential. What differential does is, on a sewing machine, we have a set of feed teeth, and they're going to move as a unit. There's little things that sit up above the needle plate, but the base is a solid unit that works as one unit. With a serger, we have 2 sets of feed teeth, and they can work independently of each other. So that is what the differential feed is for. So for instance, if we're working with a knit, if we don't want that wobbly afterwards, we can set that front differential to work a little faster so it scooches the knit in as it goes. So by the time it reaches the end, the back side of the needle, everything is perfectly flat, which is what we want. So differential feed is extremely important in a serger. It is one of the reasons to buy a serger. It is amazing. So, and then we have our stitch length here. So everything is right here. Everything is easy peasy. But let's take a look at threading. Okay, so all 4 threads are going to be threaded. We're going to go ahead and thread and show you just how easy this is to thread. and I'm going to, good, that was visible. Okay, so let's take a look at threading. If you're new to serging and you're thinking about getting this, you don't even have to worry about it. You can thread in any order you want. But if you are old and more experienced with serging and have been serging for a while, you know there's a threading order that has to happen. But with the air threads, you don't have to worry about that. You can thread in any order you want. For those of you that are in the know, I'm going to thread the upper looper last. I'm going to thread it right now so I can hear the gasps happening. So for those of you that are unfamiliar, older sergers need to be thread in a specific order, or non-air thread sergers need to be thread in a specific order, and if they're not, they do not form nice stitches, so you have to stop and rethread. So you learn that order really quickly. But with a air thread, I can just start from left to right or right to left, it doesn't matter. So let's talk about the loopers a little bit. And I want to talk about the loopers a little bit because these are what scare a lot of us when we're first getting started. I'm just trying to see if it's going to stay focused. I want to talk about the loopers a little bit because this is the thing that scares a lot of us when we're first getting started, is the loopers. But they are just like the bobbin. These are the bobbins of your serger. So let's demystify this a little bit. You heard me mention the upper looper quite a bit. And let's take a look at which one's the upper looper. Let's see, can you guess which one is the upper looper? You're right, that is the one that is coming up. So the upper looper is the only one that comes up and over. So he is very easy to identify. He's the only one that comes up. The next one is the lower looper, and he stays down below. And on a cover stitch machine, we also have the next one. So working back to front, there's the upper looper, the lower looper, and the cover stitch looper. And if you want to stick to alphabetical, if you just go front to back, it's cover stitch, lower, upper, and it'll be in alphabetical order. But these are just loopers. Now what we've done, I've already threaded my needles and I've already threaded my lower looper. Remember the lower looper is that guy that stays down here? And I'm going to now thread the upper looper. And this is fun, I have to tell you. You can tie off your thread and pull it through, but I always cut my thread and rethread because this is fun. I like to play with it. So I'm going to go ahead and, before I do that, I have to tell it, right now I'm in sewing, and I want to move it into threading. So right now we are set to serging, so I'm going to flip this over so that I can switch it to threading. Once I've done that, I'm going to turn my hand wheel until the little tubes in here line up. So I'm going to turn my hand wheel, and the little tubes are now lined up. So now if I come and bring this little thread and put it into this little hole, a little bit of fun stuff is going to happen. So what's going to happen is it's going to shoot right out of here. So if I come over here and just push this button, it's going to come shooting out of there. Oh, look at that. And it's threaded. It's that easy. So I'm going to go ahead and tuck that behind the foot, and we are all ready to sew. I am going to flip this back to the serging position, and it's okay if you forget because the door will remind you. It will not let you close. It's a safety precaution, and it will not let you close unless you get it ready to go. Another thing about this particular serger, the Husqvarna Viking Amber Air S600, is this base is so solid. When you sew, you might start, if you're new to serging, at a slow speed, but it will not take you long before you are pedal to the metal. And when you run pedal to the metal, this thing does not move. And I cannot tell you how exciting that is, because a lot of times I'm serging with one elbow on my serger to keep it from bouncing away. And this baby does not move. So I absolutely love it. So one of the things too is the serger is designed for efficiency. So the foot only needs to be up for threading. Otherwise you can just lift up the foot and just slide everything right into the front. It also does come with a knee lift, so you can use the lift here, or you can use your knee and it will pick up the foot as well. So either way that you like to do. And we'll go ahead and give it a surge. So let's go ahead and give it a surge. And there is a cutter. So with the serger, you do want a tail. And so you just serge long enough that you can get a tail and use the cutter. But look how beautiful this stitch is. Just absolutely gorgeous. Okay. So this is the Husqvarna Viking Amber Air S600, and it is an absolute gorgeous, gorgeous machine.